welcome to the year 2023. Yeah, congratulations to every one of us, wherever you are. Congratulations, happy weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Right now, it's still Say Matters with Roy, and I really want to congratulate every one of us for the privilege God has given unto us to be living witnesses till this day. This new year shall be a year of increase for every one of us in Jesus' name. So if you are watching us
Okay.
for the first time, it's Ginseng Matters with Roy, a channel where you get to learn, relearn, and unlearn from different aspects of life. And if you have been following us for some time now, you'll discover that we've had discussions on relocation, we've had discussions on how you can start your businesses with a zero capital. And for some weeks now, since last year, we've been having a marriage series where we've discussed a series of topics on how to have a healthy marriage relationship. And on this note, we are starting the year 2023 on a very good note, planning for our marriages as well. And beyond planning for our financial goals, planning for our career goals, we also need to plan for how we can enjoy our marriages in a better way and have a stronger bond with our partners, with our spouses, even in this new year 2023. So if you can see me clearly and you can hear me audibly well, don't hesitate to say hello to us in the comment section. We really appreciate it. Let me know that you are there. Let me know that yes, you were able to join the conversation today. And if there's anyone you would like to also enjoy the conversation with us, don't hesitate to share this conversation, this video with them wherever they are. And I'm not the only one here today. We have this wonderful, amazing couple that has always been with us over the years. Oh my God, it's no other person, no other couple than this beautiful couple, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Join me, guys, in welcoming them on board. Happy New Year, sir and ma.
Happy New
Happy New Year.
Year. We are happy to be here once again. We are happy to have conversation with our friends. Thank you for the invitation. We have been enjoying it, and we are so happy to be here.
Thank you so much, sir and ma, for being with us in the year 2022. And here you are again, despite your busy schedules, you're still here with us on the platform and really appreciate it. Thank you so very much, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. And for people who don't know you, who will be joining us on the conversation for the first time today, please kindly introduce yourselves briefly and tell us any other thing you would like them to know about you.
Okay, so my name is Fola Bolaji, and this is Bomi, my wife, and we are both doing well. We are both children of the Lord, growing in the Lord. And as we are growing, we are learning from others, learning from the Lord, learning from ourselves as well. We are both in the computer world. I'm an IT practitioner and she's a programmer. We are located in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States. We are both from Nigeria. And we are happy to be here with her sister and many other people on this platform.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful and brave introduction. Wow, you can imagine how wonderful that family is. Wow. All right, okay. Without wasting much of our time, let's just go right into the discussion that we have before us today. It's a wonderful one, and it's also a practical one that we cannot just ignore. I know that at the beginning of the year, everybody wants to plan for the year. We have people planning for their how to improve their finances. Some people are out there planning on how to uh, improve their careers. They have goals for their careers. So many goals that people work on at the beginning of the year. But at the same time, as couples to be, we also need to plan for our marriages. How do we spice up our marriages in the new year. Beyond the man looking forward to earning and bringing money to the home, beyond the woman just focusing on caring for the home, taking care of the kids, there are still some other things that the man, the husband, and the wife should be able to do in order to make their marriages a healthy and interesting one. Because if we keep doing the things that we did last year, then there will be no difference in our marriages. So today, we also want to look for, we are discussing majorly on the goals we can set for our marriages in this new year 2023 to strengthen the bond between the husband and the wife. And if you are out there, possibly you're planning to get married this year, this conversation is as well for you. So come along with us and let's enjoy the conversation together. And if you have one or two contributions to share as well, if you want to be part of the conversation, just call through the link in the comments below. So Sarah and Ma, yeah, there are so many goals. So many goals just within the home. So I would like us to start with talking about these goals that couples should look into. Everybody's busy, but yet we have this discussion as a reminder that there are some things we should look into even as we start the new year. So over to you, Sarah and Ma. What are those things that couples goals, things we need to look at as we begin the new year as a couple, as husband and wife?
Thank you so much. Thank you once again for this opportunity. And I will start with this introduction that we have been married for more than 12 years, and this topic is not leaving us out. This is not a sharing of, oh, I want you to know this, you don't know this before, you should know that. No, this is a topic of let's look inward and let's all look at ourselves. This topic, as we are sharing, we are also learning from it, and we are also reevaluating ourselves based on this topic. So this is no matter the number of years that you are spent in marriage, even if it is 30 years or 40 years, you still need to go over this kind of topic, setting goals for healthy marriage. We have seen marriages that collapse after 40 years. You have seen marriages that collapse after 50 years. So it doesn't really matter how long you have been, how long you have been married. The main thing that is important is planning, having a goal such that the marriage will stay healthy. The healthy marriage is it cannot be compared to anything. So I used to say it and I believe it strongly. If you see a man that is very successful, think about the wife because the wife has made an environment that makes it easy for the man to be successful. If you see a woman that is growing and is successful, think about the husband. If the husband has not made it conducive for her to do what she was doing, then she will not be able to get to where she is. So, healthy marriage is very, very important. There is this saying that charity begins from home. If your home is not in order, if you are not having an healthy marriage, your life, the whole essence of your life, may be having problem. So we need to sit down and decide how do we work together to make sure that we achieve healthy relationship, or let me call it healthier relationship. Let's believe that you have been having healthy relationship in the time past. How do you get healthier? How do you improve on it? As we are aging, our health may begin to suffer, and then we begin to do different kind of things that will make us fit. And that is how marriage should be. We should begin to think about things that we can implement that will make our marriage stronger, that we, like the host has said, that we spice up our relationship, that we put another juice, that we put another fuel in our relationship. So that is what we are. I know that my wife, at some point, we have decided that, okay, let's talk about the smart goal setting. And I believe that I'll be able to relate it to relationship. And at the end of the day, all of these will help us to set our goals right. So,
Thank you so much for this topic, and I believe it's coming at the right time, which is the beginning of the year, because the year is just starting. And as we were considering, I I want to say that healthy marriage does not come by accident. It comes with a lot of work put into it, and I don't see it only as elder marriage, but I also say like elder family, because our role in marriages transcend just being husband and wife. If we are blessed with children, we also have a role as father and mother, provider, and several other things that we need to have a healthy family. So I believe it doesn't come by mistake, and it's a saying that we are very used to. One of it is if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So if we don't put time into evaluating what we had last year, if we fail to put attention into thinking about how can we improve our relationships this year, then it is like we are planning to repeat the same cycle. So it's very important that we plan, and um, we cannot overemphasize the importance of having goals. Somebody say if you shoot for the moon, even if you don't get the moon, if you shoot for the sun, if you don't get the sun, you get to the moon. It's just like if you have something you are looking forward to, even if you don't get it in full, you get something close to it. But if you have nothing you are looking forward to, then it's like anything is acceptable. And it's like having a soccer field that has no goalpost.
yeah.
Every kick is a goal. Like it, no matter how best the kick is, nothing is achieved. But when you have the goalpost, then you could count how much you won or how you lost, something like that. So having goals for marriage is very important. And like my husband said, it's not that we don't set goals. I remember, was it in December? We had a family meeting and a
Yeah.
video was shared because we were setting, like, we're talking about setting family goals with the kids and all of us together. So there was a video that he showed to us, which was very practical and very, very educative as well. Somebody had goals. I cannot remember all the goals, but I'm going to use like two or three examples. So one of the example is buy a new phone. Another goal on the person's list is
Travel out.
travel out. Another one is
That's so
maybe save 1 million or something like
yeah,
that.
save
So
something like
at
that.
the end of the year, the person was evaluating and the person came to. So the person changed buy a new phone to buy a new phone case. Then save 1 million, it just crossed
Cross
all the
zeros.
zero and remain only one. So instead of 1 million, it became save $10 or something like that. Then travel out. The person changes to travel out of my
City.
of my city, something like that, like go to another state. So like the person actually had goals and had a lot of them. I cannot remember all of them, like 10 of them. It was really funny, but really educative as well. Not that this person does not have goals, but this person at the end of the day did not achieve any of the goals or come close to it. And that must have been because the person did not set smart goals. So when we say smart goals, we're saying the goal must be specific. It shouldn't be that our goal this year is to have a healthier marriage. What does a healthy marriage mean? That is like having no goals. But if we say one of our goals will be that having husband prayer time for one, let me not go to all the goals now, like having 1 hour 1 hour prayer time every week. That is specific. We have something that we are looking at. So it means we are looking at our prayer life. Maybe we are looking at our intimacy life. We are looking at our money spending life. We are looking at several other things. So setting specific goals is very important. That will make us achieve our goals. Then the goal must be measurable. There must be something that provides a value that is measurable. So, for example, like the one I gave, like pray together for an hour. It is not just pray together. Prayer is specific. But by the time we introduce an hour, then it becomes measurable. So if we are not praying for 1 hour, then we'll be able to evaluate and say, did we pray for 1 hour or we were just praying for 20 minutes? So that is the second part of it. Now, the third one the A in the SMART goal is it should be achievable. If it is not, like, if we set our goal to be pray for 8 hours every Monday, like, how do we carve out 8 hours for prayer on Mondays when we are working 9 to 5 on Monday? So that sounds like a goal that is not achievable. Like, the person that wanted to save $1 million in a year, how much is this person even earning that you want to save $1 million? So the goal must be achievable. Then R in it is the goal must be relevant. How does it affect us? What does it change in our family? What does it contribute to the health of our relationship? What does it contribute to the health of our family, or our health as individuals, or growth as individuals? So it must be relevant to us. If I'm setting a goal to mop up, like, invest in something that is really not affecting us, then obviously we are not going to achieve it because it's not relevant to us. Then the T in it is it must have a time bound. Okay, we want to experiment something in the next 3 months, or we want to do it in the next 6 months. It is not an eternal thing. Then we will be able to write those goals and be able to achieve them. So our goal must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be relevant, and it must have a time bound
Time
to it.
bound.
I'm going to pause there so that our host can talk and not. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And Ma, thank you so much for the analysis about what should be the characteristics of a real goal. For some families, they've had issues on settling quarrels over the years. And if they don't sit down together as the couple, as couples, as husband and wife, sit down how and plan how you want to settle quarrels. Of course, there are so many goals that couples have. Conflict, how to do you want to repeat the same process in which you settle quarrels that has not worked over the years? What do you want to do about it this year? You know, not just settling quarrels, even the finances of the home. How has it been managed? These are some of the things that I think couples should sit down to like plan towards, since the new year is starting. And like Sister Bumi just shared, it must be a smart one, something that can be achievable. And this is the reason why this discussion is coming up today, so that those particular areas that couples don't really focus on, everybody is just busy. And especially for the men, always thinking as long as there is money in the home, I think that's just my own part. I'm being a responsible guy. At least everybody has money. There is money. I'm working. I'm very busy. I'm bringing money. But no, there are still some things you can do as the man in the home. So these are some of the things I want us to discuss and share some of these things that couples can actually do to strengthen the bond. Because recently, everybody has been busy. The current economic situation of the world, people are just busy trying to learn one skill or the other. And you discover that even the husband and the wife in the home, they're just living as housemates. They're living as housemates, and the goal of the marriage itself, it's not being achieved. Couples are beginning to drift apart while still being under the same roof. So it's a new year, and we are bringing people's attention to these things that we need to sit down, look into this area. So I want us to talk about these areas that we want couples to look into. Of course, we are all learning together. So I want us to look into these areas now. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So we may need to go back to the basics, and that is talking about the goal for the marriage itself.
What came to my mind was a redeem. Yeah, like we used to say it in
That the marriage creed.
creed.
Yeah.
That is a marriage creed, and which involves joining. Two people coming to join together to form a relationship, to form home. What is the reason for joining? Companionship. She was mentioning, talking about SMART goal, and there is something like measurable. There should be a way to measure your companionship, the level of the companionship that you have. How much time are you spending together? Number one of those things that have been shown through research is that what affects relationship is usually communication. Number one thing is communication. When there is no effective communication, then there'll be a breakdown of relationship. And for people that are Christians that are hearing this, remember there is this story about Tower of Babel. How were people scattered? Their languages were changed, and they could not understand themselves, and communication line was broken. So when communication line begins to get broken between husband and wife, definitely there'll be a lot of conflict. There'll be a lot of misunderstanding, and there'll be a lot of misconception. One thing I want to mention to reduce conflict as husband and wife is that you should address situation. Don't be too assuming. Don't over assume. For example, let me give you an example. This year, like the first few days of this year, myself and my wife decided to have some meetings together, husband and wife meetings, not just we are just talking randomly. No, let's sit down, have meeting. So we had the first day of meeting, and it went very well. We discussed for a long time, and there are some other issues that we feel okay. We continue the following day. Let's have part two of that meeting the following day, because we want to do all those things very quickly so that we will launch with them into this as we go into this new year. We launch into all those plans. So the second day, the work was so tough for me. I worked till very late, and I was so tired. And after working, I just went to bed to have some nap. And the nap that I had took a longer time, to the extent that the second part of that meeting could not hold. So the following day, I could have just said, yeah, she saw that I was busy at work and she understand. Yeah. The Bible says we should dwell with understanding, right? And so she has seen what happened. But then one of the proper thing to do is to communicate with her that I know you saw what happened, but I'm sorry. I didn't plan it that way. And that was what I did. I communicate, making her to know, making her to know that I'm sorry that this happened, though I didn't plan it that way. When we communicate like that, it will not be as if you just both faced it that, yeah, she should understand. Let those things change this year. This year, if you want to reduce conflict, be intentional about communicating with your spouse. You cooked, and mistakenly something went wrong with the food. Like I was showing my wife something that I saw on a professional platform. Like somebody posted there that my wife carried prepared food, and as she was bringing the food to me, she sneezed. As she sneezed into the food, and she was like, and the husband was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's an allergy. It's not. It's involuntary." And she just defended it like that. That the husband was just saying, "What can people call? What can people say
No,
about
she
that?"
said that like you already taste my saliva when we kissed.
Yeah. So the
So
husband was like, "What you sneeze into it is more like wow." The wife was defending it that okay, it was an allergy, and then there is no big deal because you tasted my saliva when we kissed. so, so see that kind of justification. Those are the things that can break down communication in a relationship. Doing something that is not too appropriate, maybe is not even intentional, then you need to be apologetic about it. Not sounding as if then it's not a big deal. Why do you need to care about that? And things like that. So in marriage, to prevent and to avoid conflict, communication is key. Evaluation is also key. How much time are we spending together? So looking backward, we may look into okay, in the last year, we have had series of conflicts. How long has our conflicts been staying? Is it few minutes of conflict? Is it conflict that goes beyond one day? Is it a conflict that will be on it for 3 days or a week? If your conflict is going beyond one day, you need to do something as soon as possible. You need to seek help from above, and probably help from people. One of the other things that can be done is to also get mentor. Like we said, have mentor. It may be mentored through books, it may be mentored through listening to following some ministers of God on relationship. It may be mentors that you have to interact with them and let them know your situation so that they can weigh in and let you know. So, as many of us, we know this that none of us has married an angel. I've not married an angel. She has not married an angel. We are all work in progress. And if we have the same goal of having this marriage, of building this home, and having a strong relationship, then we should know that we are all work in progress. We need to work on ourselves. For somebody to stand and say, I'm right, you are wrong, then you are not working towards a strong or healthier relationship. I mean,
Thank you. So, looking at what we are talking about, like setting healthy goals, I think it starts from us having like an evaluation, like just looking at the topics that we have considered on this channel: intimacy, sexual intimacy in marriage, physical intimacy, house chores, wives and mother-in-laws, in-law relationships,
handling conflicts
handling
in
conflicts
marriage.
in marriage, insecurities, and
Yeah.
several other things. Like just looking at all of those aspects in our marriage and looking at how well are we doing, how better do we want to do. And like my husband said, like starting with the creed of marriage. What are the reasons for our marriage? Why did we come together? Companionship, he has said a lot about that, and
Raising
several other
kids.
things. Raising kids, godly kids. So it starts with an evaluation of us looking at each aspect of our lives, like looking at those things one after the other. How is our sexual intimacy? How is our physical intimacy? How is our financial independence? How are we doing in our jobs? How are we doing as a couple? How is our communication? And when we have evaluated, then we can now come up with how do we want it to change this year. So I will use the example of communication that he said. Maybe a communication problem that we have is that you usually don't say sorry, or you don't say thank you, absence of gratitude, or the other person is saying, well, I get a lot of surprises. Like somebody will just call me and be like, oh yeah, your husband said, and I'm like, I don't even have that information, but somebody else have that information. Now, if we are able to pick out those things, that these are the things that happen, then we sit together to say, how do we want to solve this problem and set goals around it. For example, if we have a lot of communication surprises, can we have like a WhatsApp group for you and I, that immediately something happens or something jumps up in your mind, you just put it there, like
And things
call mama something or called somebody, remind me to gist you later. Like I do that because I know that I'm not the type that really like talk. I'm more of activity driven. And because of that, sometimes I have it in mind to call somebody. I don't know, maybe I've done it to you before, but I do it to people. I will just say, I will call you, or remind me to call you, or something like that. I have something to discuss with you, or I am going to send you an email. And it has helped me in being able to communicate with people because they can say, you have not sent me the email. Then I know that something is on hold, or something like that. So you look for what works for you. So if the issue is you are not grateful enough, then can you have my wife's gratitude journal? Like something to every day you are reminding yourself, what am I grateful for? Like what do I want to communicate to my husband today? Oh, thank you for picking the kids. Thank you for opening the door. Thank you for doing something. Then that becomes an habit. Like they say, if you can do something consistently enough for a short period of time, before you know it, it becomes an habit. So just look at how do we solve this problem that is with us. If it is that we don't have any savings, can we change the person that is handling the family finances? Or can we have another account? Like having, like just solve your own problem by yourself in your own way. As long as we have a healthy relationship, we have achieved our goals. So summarily, I'm saying we start with evaluation. What are the things you desire? What are the things you want? Then, how do we solve it? Let's have that communication. And at the end of the day, we set goals around it that is measurable. And we set an evaluation time, maybe like every 2 months or every month or every 3 months. We come back to review what are those goals that we said we are going to achieve this year. Then, like we said, even if we don't get that sun, we are definitely going to get the moon, which is a lot farther from where we started.
Wow, thank you so much for that wonderful contributions, Sir and Ma. Oh my God, the WhatsApp group really, really got me. And thanks to all our contributors out there from Facebook. Thank you so much, Ify. Ify said, well done. Thank you so much, everyone. Ify said, WhatsApp group. I think she was also amazed with the WhatsApp group.
That actually came off the bat. It just came.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Akinriola. Thank you so much, Mrs. Victoria Adepoju. Thank you very much for joining us on the platform today. So, like Sister Bumi said, oh my God, that WhatsApp group. I think one should check it out. One should try it. Anything that will make the marriage relationship bond a strong one. Anything that will make it that will make the bond stronger and healthier. I think one should just go in for it. Go all in to try new things, and that is the essence of today's discussion. It's a new year. Now, I want us to talk about. We've talked about the emotional connection, the communication. So, if you are there as a couple, your communication has really suffered over the years, possibly last year. You are not so close with your husband, with your wife. It's a new year. Sit down, focus on it, look for how you can improve on your communication this year. And then how about the finances? So many things are happening right now. The economic situation, the inflation, and the likes. So I want us to talk about the financial, how couples can as well improve their financial goals this new year.
Yeah.
Sir.
Now, like I said the other time, everything has a basis, and we need to look back to the basis. If it's about finances, to sponsor the family, let me use that word. To sponsor every project of the family, for feeding, for accommodation, for traveling, I will say sincerely about what we do practice. I will say that you look to God. James 1:17 said, every good and perfect gift comes from above. It comes from the Father of light. The Bible says, God says, I'm the one that gives you the power to make wealth.
Hmm.
No matter how much we run, let me add to my work. Let me get 3 jobs together so that we may have this money. If we are not careful, we'll be chasing money and we will not be able to manage our family. If you are not able to train your kids, if you are not able to spend time with your spouse because you want to get enough money, the damages that will be caused, the money that you eventually get will not be able to cure or solve the problems that you have created.
Exactly.
So it's very, very important that we go back to our goals. And it's very, very important that we go back to the basis and know that if God is the one that instituted this marriage, God will provide for this home. That should be settled. In terms of our own finances, every year we commit it to the hand of God. It is just like settled on our heart that we will not lack. Psalm 84 verse 11 says, nothing good. You will not lack anything good. There is nothing good that we lack. And that has been the situation for us since we committed that to God. Now, let's now look into the family excesses. What are the things that are putting people in financial problems? That is what husband and wife should focus on. Financial problems. How are you dealing with your finances? Some people have the mentality of, I want to invest and invest and invest. People are buying stocks, people are buying things, and they are not paying school fee. And the wife is running about, oh, I need to pay the school fee of my kids. And the husband is just investing the money in stock. You want to have more when you have not even used the little you have to satisfy the family. That is a very wrong mentality. Financial stability has to do with, if you are saying that God provide for this marriage, and maybe God is providing through me, and I'm giving my wife piecemeal, that is not for the marriage anymore. It is that the money has been provided for me and I decide how much goes to my wife. That should not be. See, if we are talking about marriage, there should be a kind of union of minds about how you will spend your money. Or if the wife is raking in much money and she feels like, oh, Mama Lagbaja, my friend, the mother of somebody, this is the way she buy things. I want to be buying things like that. That is not marriage focused anymore. Whatsoever God is providing for the home, husband and wife should be able to sit down and say, how do we apportion this income? Financial response sincerely, if you agree together and if you dwell with understanding everything about your finances, God will answer them. You will not lack and you will not have issues. But when one person is pursuing a goal and the other is pursuing another goal, then there will be financial crisis. If you can join your mind together, you can join your heart together about how you will handle financial resources that God is bringing to you, I'm sure from experience, from personal experience, there will not be a lack and money will not be an issue. I can't remember when last we have discussed money in our relationship that, oh, this amount of money, I need to buy things, I cannot achieve it, I need to give to, I cannot achieve. No, is one of the last things for us. I'm not even, in fact, we have it got to an extent that some accounts, if you begin to ask my wife about some of our accounts, she'll be like, I don't even have the access. I don't even know the login. At some point I wrote down some foreign accounts that she had. I wrote down the login that in case anything may happen to me, just take this and keep and things like that. The next time when I asked her, she cannot even remember where she kept it. It's just by the way, and it's funny by the way. But I'm just talking about the fact that the idea of, oh, my money, her money, his money, is not even reigning in our own family. That doesn't mean that it cannot work for some other people. Some other people may decide that what works for us is to have separate management of financial resources. But for us, separate management, it's not as if we take permissions from one another before we can buy something of $10 or $5 or something, or I want to do something, oh, I need your permission. No, but we carry each other along. We inform one another that this has been done, and we know that it is for the goal of the family. So it's very, very important that financial resources should be discussed, should be communicated, and as they are coming in, should be used for the purpose, for the home. That is my own little piece of advice about that.
Yeah. My husband is a man of faith financially. Whatever thing you can conceive, you can achieve it. And thankfully, I'm like a financial 0 0. I just believe that I have a father that holds all the cattle on the mountain, so we will not lack meat. So meat we shall come shall somehow. But
Exactly.
but I want to add that um having faith does not negate planning.
Yeah.
We should have faith in God, but it should not negate planning as well. We should also have plans. So let's assume that we are starting the year on a negative, like husband and wife are in debt. I think there's a need to come together and evaluate how do we get out of debt, and some other talks as well. I know that this year some people are emphasizing that there would be
Recession.
recession,
Session.
but whatever thing is happening outside, we know that we are using heavenly account, so we cannot lack. And when others say that there's a casting down, for us there's a lifting up. So as Christians, we should dwell on the word of God on our finances and
Yeah.
receive miracles from God and receive instructions from God as well. So we come together to say, this is our current financial situation. We bring it to God, our Father, and receive leadings from Him. Now, the leading can be to have 20% of our salary going into a savings or going into a debt repayment pause. That is absolutely fine if that is how God is leading you. But let us not live our life like somebody who does not have a father that really cares for us. God really cares for us, and He has promised to provide for all our needs according to His riches in glory, not according to our salary, not according to how much we earn, not according to how many hours we commit into up and downs, but according to His own riches in glory. So God is going to take care of us. Let us come from that point of view of trusting God, believing in Him for financial miracles, for financial help, and financial leading. If God is leading you to give, don't hold back using your whole mathematical calculation of this is how much we have.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that widow. Elijah said, just prepare the last one for me. Thank God she did. If she didn't, it would have been her last meal. But she did. And that was the beginning of miraculous provisions for her, because she never lacked. So God is going to lead us. Let us evaluate our situation. Let us go to God for leading and just live according to how God has led us. Let us set goals according to how God has led us.
Yeah.
And we will be surprised at how our account will never tie together. Supply will not be equal to how much we are spending, because our Father is going to fill every gap in our financial life.
Then I want to add to that. Like she said, faith does not negate planning, and planning is very, very important. And when I mentioned investment the other time, I'm not saying that people should not invest. No. In fact, we have a friend that God instructed him to go and invest in certain kind of foreign exchange or stock or something of that nature. And that was sufficient for their family for years, based on God's instruction. In fact, my friend and his family were in the UK and they were established there. And with that, God instructed them to even move out of UK
Wow.
based on different evaluation. So I will not go into detail about that, but I'm just talking about the fact that God can instruct you about your finances. God has done it for us in time past. God has told us things that we can invest in, things that we can spend time in. God has even led us to apply to certain places that we don't even know that things can come out of those places. But depending on God is very important. Number two, I want to add, there is this story that Jesus told about talent. A master going away, giving 10 denarii or 10 talents to one, 5 to the other, and 1 to the other one. And what was the commendation of the master when he came? He said, because you have been faithful in little, I will make you master over much. Know that every financial provision that you are getting is a test. Is a test. If you have been faithful in the little, then expect more. Expect more is a principle that will work in marriage. If the husband is the one bringing more money and you are faithful in dispensing it rightly, expect that you will be promoted over it. You will get more. If it is the wife and you are not faithful about it, you are just dispensing it wrongly, you should know that there is a problem. So sincerely, follow the leading of the Lord. Plan for your money. Savings, do you want to save? Yes. Agree on the amount you want to save. Don't just say that, yeah, I'm the leader of the home, I'm the wife, I'm the husband, I'm this, so I decide what we save. No. Both of you should have an agreement. At some point in time, myself and my wife, we were not saving because we felt we need this money to implement certain things. And at some point, we were saving. So it depends on the circumstances. We agree together on what to save. There are some times that we saved, and eventually we receive a leading that all the savings should be used towards something, maybe to help somebody out or something of that nature. And then when we have such leadings, we don't argue about it. We just know that that is the right thing to do. And then we go ahead and do it. And there are some times that we just redistribute our financial commitments based on, but this is still going back to the issue of evaluation. Your evaluation as husband and wife may be quarterly. It may be once in a month. We have written down things because I wanted to mention it also that if you are setting goals, it should be written down. The Bible says, write the visions and put write visions
Amen.
upon the table so that he that read it may run. Write the vision, make it plain
Mm.
upon the tables. Let it be clear so that anybody that sees it and know that yes, this is clear. It doesn't have any other question. So use those things that you have written down. Use them in your meetings, in your evaluation. It's very, very important. Like I will heard because we don't have enough time anymore. Vacation is very important. Husband and wife spend time together. Like when the kids are not there, go to an hotel. If you don't have another retreat center or play center to go to an hotel. You and your wife spend at least a night. If it is possible quarterly, do it quarterly. At worst, do it once in a year that you are alone together. Like review, you can maybe your wedding anniversary that you decide that during our wedding anniversary, if there are not external projects that can limit us, we will travel together, maybe few minutes away from home or few hours away from home. It may even be longer, and you spend time together reviewing your life, reviewing how far you reached, reviewing how far you are planning to get to. It is very, very essential, and I hope that we can commit to that. God will help us as we do that. I don't know if you have a contribution about that.
Yeah, you have said a lot, and I just want to encourage us again that we should not allow the devil to put us into a race of what shall we eat, what shall we wear, how shall we do this, how will we pay children tuition, because Jesus already addressed it. He said that we should not be anxious for anything, and if the birds of the field, if the lilies, the flowers can be well dressed,
Yeah,
our God, our Father really cares for us. Let
yeah,
us give our financial life to God. Let us
yeah,
operate on His principles. Let
yeah,
us follow His leading
yeah,
and trust Him. Trust Him for miracles, and we will have a lot of testimonies.
yeah,
We'll have testimonies of miraculous provisions, God's way of doing His own things. That is just so awesome. Healthcare bills will not be our portion this year. Like that
yeah,
can be a way God is cutting off our spendings and several other things. So as much as God is leading us, let us just follow Him. And if God also has us to curb some behaviors, like
yeah,
people who wants to buy 10 bags or every color of bags, also if God is curbing you from such behaviors, then let us stop it as well. But our Father is sufficient for all that we need.
Wow. It's been a whole lot of learning today on the conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji, for sharing with us once again on the platform. From your wealth of knowledge, it's been an interesting one again today. And just like Brofola shared some minutes ago about you creating time for your partner, it's not about the money alone. If you have been busy working for the money and your partner is just at home there, not feeling your presence, it's a new year. Look for how to strike the balance. Like Sister Bumi said, create that time with your partner. And just like Brofala also said that go for vacation. It's a new year. Plan, do something different. If you've not been supporting the goals, the dreams of your partner before, it's time for you to be supportive. If you have not, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Armstrong. He's saying here that instruct people to give their tithes and offerings as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much for that contribution. You're right, of course. All right, okay. So if you've not been having enough time with your spouse before, it's time for you to look into her eyes, look into his eyes, communicate heart to heart. You will discover, oh, so I've missed a lot. Eh, my wife is so. just look at each other, create intentionally, because possibly our next conversation is going to be how to actually bring these goals, how to actually achieve these goals. Beyond talking about them, what are the practical ways we can actually achieve these goals in the new year? Because doing the same things all over again will achieve the same results. So as much as we have plans to improve our finances this year, we also want to focus on our marriages, because it all starts from the home. If you don't have a healthy marriage, there's no way you'll be successful in your business. There's no way you'll be successful at your place of work. So why not just create time? So this year we are going to have healthy marriages. We're going to have strong bonds. In fact, stronger bonds with our spouses this year. And as God will be helping us, we'll be bringing great content just on this channel, GC Matters with Roy. A big thanks to our special guest of honor for today, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. So before we call it a close today, I would like Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji to just a takeaway for people, something to go with today as we bring it to a close.
Okay, so for my side, I want to mention three things, majorly. Three things that normally cause trouble in marriage. Number one is our communication. Let's write our goal. How do we want to improve our communication system? Number two, finances. Let's sit down and recalculate. Am I being stingy? What am I doing? What am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing? So don't be stingy. And number three is the area of sex. Sex has been known to cause problem in marriage. Sit down. Are you doing it right? Are there some things that you should explore? Godly things? Are there some ways that you should satisfy your partner more? Write it down and discuss it. Have communication about it. Those are the three things. But in addition, I will say give. Somebody has mentioned giving tithes and offering. Give to God and give to men. As give to God and give to men. All those things are very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
So
sir.
you have said three things. So I will just cap you by saying, let us sit down together to strive for a better marriage this year.
Okay. And on this note, we'll bring the conversation to a close. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the platform today. It's really a good time, and it's a good one to start the new year with. And as we go through the new year, don't forget your goals. Don't just write them down. Check them and ensure that you bring them to a reality. Thank you so much, guys. Two will come your way again. It's still Ginsey Matters with Roy. Bye for now.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.